Good afternoon. Today we want to look at graphs using Python. My name is Mdzingwa P. Now, when we want to use Python for plotting graphs, there is a very important module that is used. That is matplotlib. This is a module that is imported for graph plotting. So today we want to look at how we can plot graphs in Python. Let's open Jupyter Notebook and look at how we can draw graphs. Now let's create a new folder and title the folder here, then rename graphs. Let's open graphs, then new Python 3. Now let's import our library, our module. Import matplotlib.pyplot as pt. Now we want to draw a graph using this module. So let's take a for example. We have information about programming language. Programming language. Then we have a list of these programming language, like let's say Java here. Then Python. Then we have another Kotlin. We have JavaScript. We have C#. We have PHP. This is a these are programming languages. Now let's find out the number of programmers that are using these programming languages. Number of programmers using this language. Now we have a list. In Java we have, let's say, 100,000. In thousands, let's say these are in thousands. Then in Python, let's say we have 60,000. It's a survey that I carried out for few programmers. Please, if I skip your language there, don't hesitate to add on the comment section below, so that I can capture that language also. 80,000 for JavaScript. C#, 30,000. Then PHP 70,000. Now let's try to use the module matplotlib.pyplot, which we use an alias name of pt dot. Now we want to plot a bar graph. Bar. Now when we want to create a bar graph. In a bar graph, there are certain arguments that need to be passed. Some of them are mandatory, some of them are optional. But the x is mandatory, height is mandatory, then there is width of the bars, which is by default 0.8. It's not mandatory, we can just skip, therefore it's by default is 0.8. Then there is bottom, where our graphs are supposed to start from. By default is from 0. Then there is alignment. Align. At first is sender. By default is sender. Then there is data that we need to pass. By default it's none. Then there is quags. Then from there we can just now try to plot our graph by trying to pass those arguments. Some of them are mandatory, some of them are, now we say bar. So let's comment this one here, because we are just trying to show what is supposed to be entered and what is not supposed to be entered. Our x value are the programming languages. Then the number of programmers is the y argument, is for the height. Number of programmers. Now let's try to run this one. Now you see we have a graph, but on our graph we have this graphs of the same color, that is the blue color. There is also no labels for the x-axis, the vertical, and the title. So let's try to add the labels here. So pt dot x label. Let's try to bring the x label here. The x label being programming languages. Then the pt dot y label, these are number of programmers using number of programmers. Then pt dot title. Title here. Then you can just say programmers 2022. Then we say py dot show, just to make sure that we have graphs there. Then we can see that there is something else, py instead of py is pt. Then things going. Now we have got our title, number of programmers, the spelling of programmers here. Now we have got, now we have our graph with the default value, default width of 0.8. Let's try to change the width. Now let's pass our width here, just comma width equal to width equal to 0.4. Let's find out what is happening. 0.4. Let's 0.4. 0.4. Now look at the width has changed. Now let's say we want to have also the colors to be different here. Let's say bring in the, now let's say C is equals to green, red, black, brown, yellow, pink. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The language is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now let's pass this color equal to C. My color is equal to C. Let's find out what is happening. Now my colors is pointing to this array. We can actually pass this array into this as an argument. In my argument for creating a bar graph as an argument here. Now we create colors. We can also include something like line width, that is the border of our bar graph. Let's say line width is equal to 3. Then we want to add the color to the edges of that, the edges or the lining, the edges of our bars. Edge color equal to, let's add a color, a certain color, red, or white, or blue, or pink. Let's add blue. Is there blue? Let's add blue here. Blue. Find out what is going to happen. Now look, on the edges we have got a blue color there. Now let's try to also to look at the bottom. Look, almost everything by default start from 0 at the bottom, but we might want to change so that it might start at 10. So let's say comma bottom equal to 10. Let's see what is now. The bottom has changed, so let's just make it a bit different so that we can pass a certain argument, a certain value that makes their starting point different. Like Java might start at 20, Python at 40, Kotlin at another level, also different. So B for bottom is equal to a list 20, 10, 5, 15, 6, 15 again, then 10. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For each, there are 6. So here under bottom, let's say, is equal to B, meaning to say they are starting at difference bottom. Now look, there is a difference now. It's starting from Java starting at 20, Python at 10, Kotlin at 5, then JavaScript 15, C#, 15, PHP 10. Now, we can also add something like alignment. Look, the alignment is at center. We can just make it at edge. This edge at the beginning here, or at the other left edge here. So let's try to add at the beginning here. Let's say it's align equal to edge. Let's see what is happening. Now look, the alignment starts at the beginning of the bar graph that we are creating. Now, let's also say this information on the bar graph is not clearly being shown given a condition. Let's say our programming languages are so long that they are actually not clear to see here. We can try to come up with a horizontal bar graph which is different from this one. Let's try to bring in a horizontal bar graph here. What we can do is to put an H here. If we put an H here, now we change. Let's try to see what is going to happen. Now, look, got multiple value for argument width. We are supposed to change some value to suit what we want. Let's clear everything here. Now, our X is no longer programming languages. So let's try to run this. We can see we have number of programmers and programming languages. What we can now do is to change here. Our X label is now number of programmers here. Number of programmers here. So we can just relieve it like this and say this is now my X label, this is my Y label. Then we can run and see number of programming language. These are now horizontal. Now we can also add our colors here, our different colors here. Let's say color is equal to C. Then we find out what is going to happen. Now our colors is now here. Again, we can also add our edges like line width, is equals to 2. Then edge color equal to blue. Now let's run and find out. Now look. So this is how we can plot graphs using a module matplotlib. For more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you.